a lot of people don't know what they don't know. So like a lot of people don't know that there's, an acne face map or, the Chinese face map that's showing you organs on your face, or that there's even a holistic solution, or that you can change your diet and change your life.
If you've outgrown your current path, this is your invitation to step out of the hustle and into your purpose and passion. It can be healing, it can be fun, and it can be strategic. This is where you become the boss goddess in your niche and bring your dreams to life. Hi, this is Barcy, your host, and before we get started today, I wanted to share something that I've been doing in my business, in particular for boss-goddess.co. And in fact, it might be the reason you found me and are listening to this episode right now. So this last spring, when I officially launched boss-goddess.co and rebranded this podcast, one of the things I set out to do differently this time in my business was to prioritize marketing and messaging first. So things like how I share with you and really spending time to get to know you better and learn what it is that you actually want and need, and then adding strategy to do that and create more visibility for myself and Boss Goddess through marketing so that I can create the bigger ripple effect that I've been wanting to create with my purpose, serve more people and reach more people and help more people have their version of their purpose-driven ripple effect. So one of the game changers for me, which I so did not expect, by the way, was learning how to create Facebook lead ads correctly so that it can be part of my ongoing marketing strategy. I found Zach Spuckler's Facebook Ads Bootcamp, and it helped me ground all of my ideas into a process that actually worked successfully. And I'm so excited to share this with you because I decided to sign up as an affiliate at the perfect time because Zach is doing another live Facebook Ads Bootcamp, and it's starting on September 15th, which is really soon. So I wouldn't wait to sign up if you're wanting to finally learn how to do this well in your business and add a whole bunch of new leads to your email list that you can share your offerings with, or just share your messaging with if you don't have an offer yet. And you can do what I'm doing, where you can get to know them and you can find out what they truly want and need, and you can support them before you even have anything to offer. So it's a really great way to kind of do both. And Zach is one of the best teachers I've ever come across on this topic. I also joined his membership, by the way, because I'm like, just everything he's teaching is so valuable to the way I'm building my business right now. So the entire 5-day training for the boot camp, the Facebook Ads Boot Camp, is only $25, and you'll get the replays. I had to watch the replays in order to execute on all the setup and the strategy for this. So my affiliate link is below this episode in the show notes. I hope to see you there. It's a really great step to add some new energy to what you're already creating and lean into some actionable strategy. Again, your link to join is in the show notes. If you are ready to say yes to redefining what is next for you with podcasting, then I want to invite you to get my Activate Your Passion with Podcast Blueprint. Just go to boss-goddess.co/activate. This is your free 5-day guide where each day I'll send you an email with guidance and a downloadable prompt, exercise, or tool that you can take some action with to begin to get clear on how to pursue what lights you up with the power of podcasting, from how to get started with your topic to how to build your own ecosystem that you can monetize later. Let's redefine what comes next for you so you can step into your goddess era. Just go to boss-goddess.co/activate. Hi, and welcome back to the Boss Goddess podcast. I'm Barcy, your host, and today we have something a little different for you. We're talking about self-care, which we do talk about often on the show, but more specifically, we're diving into skincare. But something really interesting that my guest today explores with us is the connection our skin has with our lifestyle and what is going on with how we're feeling and how we're managing our lifestyle, like with diet, for example, and our health overall. So, like in particular, inflammation in the body will show up in the skin on our face. In other words, your face has a map of the body, much like our feet have in Eastern medicine. So, now the other cool thing about our guest today is that she's not only a practitioner because she is an esthetician, but she's also a business owner and owns her own day spa here in Los Angeles, which is no easy feat. Her name is Kirstie Reese, and like I just mentioned, she is a licensed esthetician, acne specialist, and the founder of Sugarface Skincare, a results-driven skincare studio based in Sherman Oaks, California. She has been working within the industry for over a decade, and with her personal experience navigating acne since her preteen years, Kirstie is passionate about helping clients heal their skin and reclaim their confidence. She's known for her honest, no pressure approach and her extractions and massage techniques that blend science with self-care. Kirstie's committed to education, empowerment, and making clear, glowing skin feel accessible versus intimidating. And when she's not in the treatment room, you can find her cooking, hiking, or curled up with her cat and a cup of tea. Same on that last one for me, but with a cup of coffee instead. This conversation is really fun and I think really interesting. It's an interesting take on how our skin expresses itself based on what is going on with our mind and body. She has a really lovely, empathetic way of how she approaches service, how she gives to her clients in this capacity. And she's just so sweet and so lovely. Here's my conversation with Kirstie Reese. So welcome, Kirstie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're joining the show. You have a really lovely approach to what you do, and we're going to get into that. So, we just heard in the intro that you work in skincare, you're an esthetician, but you are also a business owner. And I wanted to just jump right in and ask you, because you shared something really interesting with me in our last chat, that the skin really kind of tells us about our lifestyle. It kind of shows you where things might be going well or not going so well. Can you talk to us about sort of what kind of information the skin shares with us about our well-being?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really interesting how there's basically like an acne face map, and you can tell a lot about what's going on internally through where you're breaking out in your face. So, for example, like in between your eyebrows is a common place because you can have like high fatty foods in your diet, and it might just be too much of high fatty foods like too much avocado, or too much oil in your diet, too much coconut oil or something like that. And then around the chin and jawline is definitely hormonal, so a lot of hormonal imbalances or a lot of inflammation, especially around that time of the month when you have fluctuation changes in your hormones. There's so many things that your skin can tell you.
Wow.
One of the common areas that I see right here, like right on the cheeks, it could definitely be like blush or like some kind of cosmetic thing breaking you out. But internally, if there's a lot of inflammation there, you'll see it on like a Chinese face map, and it'll tell you that that's digestion. So it could be stomach or gut related, something that's not agreeing with you. You might be allergic to something that's causing inflammation in your gut, which is showing up on your face and causing you to break out.
That's interesting. I hadn't heard that one before, and I didn't know there was. So I'm familiar with like the foot maps, right? Like different parts of the feet represent different parts of the body. So is that the same for the face?
Yeah, pretty much.
That is so interesting. Do you happen to know any other
Fascinating.
parts that are like related to organs, like the cheeks are related to gut and digestion?
So your forehead is definitely going to be related to high blood pressure. So it would be heart. And then right next to your nose is going to be lungs. So people with like asthma or breathing issues or allergies, even. I have an interesting client, and she's allergic to cats, but she has cats, and she's always getting inflamed breakouts right around her nose. And I asked her if she was having any like allergy symptoms, and she said yes, she's allergic to cats. So I suggested to her that maybe she should look into getting allergy shots so she can build up her immunity to what she's allergic to. So fast forward like 6 months, and she did the allergy shots. She's getting a lot better, and her breakouts are right here stopped.
Oh my goodness, that's so interesting.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I had a question about this a little later on, but I'm curious, are there common types of locations you see a lot of and what the lifestyle like common issue might be related to that issue that you see often?
Well, definitely chin and jawline hormonal breakouts. Sometimes I'll see them like around the neck, which is going to be lymphatic acne. So people who are not
By the lymph nodes, right?
exactly.
Okay.
So people who are not getting enough movement or not exercising enough, not detoxing enough would be right underneath the jawline on that lymph node right there. Another one is the digestion. So the cheek acne that a lot of people assume is going to be like from a dirty pillowcase or talking on the phone or something. When you like dive deeper, it's usually digestion.
Yeah. And that's such a good point because I know at some point in my past, someone has told me that it's my cell phone or to wash my sheets more or something like that, like to change the pillowcase more often. That's
Yeah.
usually the advice that's given.
And it's totally valid advice. It works. But if it's not working, the next step is definitely looking into digestion.
What would be a first step you would suggest for someone who you think it might be more than just a pillowcase or a cell phone, like that it might be digestion? How do you kind of sneak in that level of direction or advice?
So I'll usually point them in the direction of like a naturopath or someone who can do more holistic testing,
Mm.
even like a blood test that can kind of tell you food sensitivities. There's one that you can do like at home. So you don't have to go to a doctor and you can just buy it online. They send it over to your house. You do the blood test. So you send it back, and then a couple weeks later, you get all of these like foods that you might be sensitive to or foods to avoid and foods that are good for you. And then just by kind of like doing an elimination diet and eliminating those from your daily life for 30 to 90 days, you might see a huge improvement, especially in like the cheek area with inflamed breakouts. That's where I start. And then we go from there.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I didn't know there was an at-home test. That's very
Yeah,
empowering for anyone who
there's a lot of them.
really, okay, good to know. Do you have links to this? I could like add a link in the show notes to something like that.
The one that I've personally done is Everlywell and Viome. Those are the ones that I've personally done. I think the Viome is really cool because there's an app and it tells you specific foods for you to avoid, your superfoods that are good for you, foods that are like you should just limit, and then foods definitely do not eat. For me, for example, it told me that I'm allergic to shrimp and mushrooms and bananas. And there was a point where I was eating those daily. And so that really, really helped once I eliminated those. And then if you eliminate them for like a certain amount of time, and you come back to them, try them again and see how your body reacts, you'll notice that you'll have bloating, cramping,
Mm.
elimination, constipation. So it just depends on how your body's reacting to that food. So now I totally avoid those foods.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I have so many thoughts. One, I'll share that I have a holistic or homeopathic doctor that I've been going to for over a decade. Diet is always a huge part of the healing experience for whatever thing I show up to assess. And there are certain things that I've also eliminated for years at a time. And then let's say like 7 years later, I can come back to them without an issue, which is interesting. So your body kind of like resets almost after a certain amount of time, and you might be able to tolerate them again if you continue with the healing, just as another alternative for someone who's like, oh no, I'll never eat bananas again.
Yeah,
And that
totally.
might be true. It depends, right? But I think what I did experience was that sensitivity you're talking about when you come back during the time that you're not completely done with the inflammation or the triggering that some of those foods can have for an individual. They can really create a heightened experience when you come back to them. and cause maybe even more issue because your body isn't adapted to it at all anymore, right?
Totally.
Yeah, it's an interesting experience. With some guidance, I think it can be really, really powerful, like what you're sharing. But coming back to your experience, one, it sounds like you had an experience with a homeopathic doctor too, or you kind of started to get on board with this holistic approach. So I'd love to hear about that. But let's fast forward even further back because I know you struggled with some acne as well, and that's your focus in your business too, specifically. And I also struggled with acne starting at age 11. So it's pretty young and did all the things, pills, retinol, like very strong solutions that they had back then that didn't feel healing. They felt really abrasive and difficult. And I don't know if they really helped, to be honest. But I'd love to hear more about your journey and how that inspired what you do now and how you bring in this holistic way of approaching it.
Yeah, definitely. So I have had acne since like I can remember. Being a teenager, I would try to cover it up with makeup. I tried everything like proactive, like
Mm.
everything you can imagine, every over the counter thing, birth control, everything. And nothing really helped until I found, so there's a doctor, Dr. Fulton, and he created benzoyl peroxide and vitamin A. So he has this whole approach of treating acne, and a lot of companies now follow that approach. And so I found a skincare line called Face Reality that follows that approach.
Mm.
And with Face Reality, we basically use a certain amount of products. So we'll do a cleanser, a toner, a serum, and then acne medicine and moisturizer. And then I basically change up the skincare routine and the frequency of how I'm using it, depending on how my skin's reacting. And it's never getting used to the products because it's always changing. So
Mm.
it continues to work. But basically, I had acne forever. I started working for a facial plastic surgeon. They told me to go to esthetician school so that I could help them out in their doctor's office. I did that. And then I decided that I wanted to go out on my own to learn more. And then that's where I found an acne clinic to work for. I got fired from the acne clinic for working for the doctor's office for one day. And then I started my own business because I wanted to help more people with acne. So that's really my passion. And I just love like helping people get confidence and just helping them with their skin more holistically because you don't need Accutane, you don't need pills, you don't need to be on birth control necessarily to help acne and control it. There's no cure, but we can help control it. And I like to teach people how to manage their skin.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that sort of unfolding of how the journey kind of led you to one thing and then to the next. And it's kind of nice when something happens organically like that up to a point, because I know you also shared that you got let go, but that really empowered you to do something on your own because one, starting a business is not the easiest thing in the world to do. It requires a lot of risk and confidence and boldness and trust in yourself. And it's a constant what I believe like a self-development process. You're constantly having to come back to yourself. Do you feel like it's that way for you too? I know it does for me.
Yeah, it's always evolving. There's always something going on.
Yeah. Just a side note or side journey for a moment, like in your experience in starting a business, do you find that it really helped with self-trust and confidence and sort of believing in yourself in a way that maybe you hadn't before?
Oh, for sure. 1,000%, definitely. No one in my family had started a business, so I really just didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. So thank God for my fiance who was like, I'll support you, I'll help you. He is really the backbone
Hmm.
of everything. So thank God for him. Otherwise, I don't think I would have started my own business.
Well, it's beautiful to have that support and have someone there who is willing to catch any fall that might occur because it does happen. But good for you for doing it.
Thank you. I wanted to go back about how I got to the holistic place in my life. So I've been doing skincare for 10 years and I have all the tools, I have all the machines, I have everything, and I was still breaking out. So I would still have these cheek breakouts and nothing was helping me. So I was on a trip with my fiance. We were in Europe. And in Europe, like you can eat anything, you can walk forever, your skin is great, your stomach is fine because you can eat all the food and it doesn't
Mhm.
react the same way that it does in the US. So we were in Europe and my skin was breaking out so bad. Like just every day I would wake up with more pimples. And I was so desperate that I went on like a virtual Zoom call with a doctor in the US and I was like, I need medicine
Mhm.
because my skin is so bad. So that led me down a path because they couldn't help me without prescribing medicine. And I didn't really want to go down that path. So I found a holistic doctor and I started doing more research. And we did blood tests to find out what I was allergic to internally. We did IV therapy. We did chelation for heavy metals. So that kind of like made me realize that your acne is more than surface. It's more
Mhm.
than just topical, it's also internal. So I like to help my clients kind of point them in the right direction. If I could be a naturopath or a holistic doctor, I totally would. But I try to point them in the right direction and just point things out to them like, oh, this area is digestion, this area is hormonal, like, things like that. So that's what led me to the holistic path is that I have everything, all the tools, but it wasn't helping me. So I had to look internally.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. And I relate to the story of like going to a regular quote unquote Western doctor and them telling you what, well, for me, a couple times they're like, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. And it's like, well, there is because I'm experiencing, this, that, and the other and pain and whatnot in my situation. And going and then like reverting to my holistic doctor who was able to detect, these underlying factors in my lifestyle or my diet usually was almost
Hmm.
always related to diet as well, if not primarily. And pulling that out would heal the problem. And it's like, it's just, I've experienced it so many times over and over in the last decade plus, like it's like 12 years, I'd say that I've gone and I don't need to go very often because the process takes time. So whenever I would go in, it would be, a couple years between maybe the next visit or something like that when something else flares up. So I point that out just to relate to what you're sharing because I completely have had a similar experience, but also to help someone see like if you're not getting the answers that you want or you feel like there's something else going on and you're not super excited about taking the medication or it feels incongruent, let's say, with
Yeah,
something that like trust that intuition and it's okay to keep looking and to see if there are other alternatives for you because it might be something deeper, it might be something you can control in your day to day, like you shared. So thank you for that.
totally. I think a lot of Western medicine is just a band-aid, they're just trying to give you something for the symptoms, but not treat the actual cause of what's going on. So that's why I think naturopaths and holistic doctors kind of dive a little bit deeper. So, like for the same thing as you, my doctors told me that I was totally fine, but the holistic doctor ran more blood work and more tests and found that my estrogen and my progesterone were super low,
Mhm.
super, super low when a normal doctor or Western doctor would just put me on birth control to fix that.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't want to go on birth control.
Yeah, like what if you're trying a family plan at that time or then what? Like what's the alternative? And birth control became like the solve all for
Yeah,
a while. Is that still going on? I haven't tapped into that in a while, but
yeah, it
that's
is.
very interesting. That's a whole nother topic, women's health, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of issues and gaps when it comes to that. And, hormones.
We can have a whole other podcast on that.
Yeah, we'll have to bring you back and we'll just talk about the problems with women's health studies. Because,
We totally should do that.
yeah, it's a whole thing. But this does feed into that. I love this because, one, your touch point is through the business that you own and through being an esthetician working with skin. And it's inflammation is one of the indicators when our body's trying to tell us something. It could be anything, right?
Yeah.
It could be stress, it could be diet, like you're sharing in a lot of these instances. So I just like this conversation because it helps us see ways that we can start paying attention to ourselves in a very, on a basic level. Like we look in the mirror every day, hopefully, and we can experience and like notice what's going on with ourselves without always needing to go to the doctor, let's say, or we might have a little bit more control than we think when we start paying more attention to these things.
Totally. A lot of people don't know what they don't know. So, like, a lot of people don't know that there's, an acne face map or, the Chinese face map that's showing you organs on your face, or that there's even a holistic solution, or that you can change your diet and change your life.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I didn't know that either about the face map. That is so interesting. When did you learn that part of just that information? Was that in your own sort of studying after diving into holistic stuff, or was that through your esthetician practice?
I'm trying to remember like the exact time that I noticed it, but there is in esthetician school, there is a face map.
Mm,
And I think maybe I just started looking more into acne specifically.
that makes sense. Yeah, that was just a curious question. Like where that sits in the educational arc of working with skin. So, I mean, I love your holistic approach to everything. And I love that you're kind of finding space to nurture women on a deeper level. I mean, we show up for one thing. Usually it's a facial or, maybe it's some acne, like a specific topical thing because we get those extractions and whatnot and relaxation. But in addition to that, you're really helping them see how they can walk away with a bigger transformation. Is that your goal for women that walk through your door?
Definitely. I really like to make people feel good. Like, I love when clients come in for a facial and then they're like, oh, I was having such a stressful day. Like, this made my entire day. I feel so much better. Like, I can take on the world now. And it just like makes me feel so good to like give them that energy and give back to them and just make them feel like they can take on anything and give them the confidence and just like reset their lives. It
Hmm.
just makes me feel like I'm so passionate about it. I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, I mean, I relate to that because to me, this podcast is that for me in helping people sort of find ways, empowering them in ways that they may not have known. Like you said, you don't know what you don't know, and like you can just sort of relate to something that you may not be able to relate to with your network in your own community or your friends, or there's just so many touch points and ways to experience what you just shared, like to bring someone something that empowers them and makes them feel more confident, feel more, fill in the blank. So I get it. To me, it feels really connected to my own sort of passion and purpose. Do you feel like that's what it is for you too?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I also think like I just have this natural like nurturing. I want to like help everyone and like, like feed everyone.
Yeah, you're a healer in
uh,
your own right.
totally, definitely.
Yeah. And I actually noticed that when I was doing my research and bringing you on, that you have a very nurturing energy and a very nurturing sort of quality that you want to bring to the world. And I sensed that just through the way you show up in your energy. So I can
That's so
feel it.
crazy.
Well, that's a great thing because that's how you're going to attract the client that needs what you have to offer.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That makes me feel so good that you can like read that through the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just innate. And that's what I'm getting at. It's part of who you are. And I know you also had a close relationship with your grandmother. And I'm wondering if she was a role model in that to help nurture your nurturing quality in a sense. Do you feel like that was a connection for you, a connection point?
Yeah, definitely. She passed away, but she is the most like sweet, kind, nurturing. Like she'll take anyone in if they need a place to stay, if they need clothes, she'll give them the clothes off their back. Like she was just like the most beautiful little like Disney princess kind person. So I think I learned a lot of that from her, where she just wanted to like help everyone and make everyone get along and bring everyone together. And such an off topic, crazy like story, but so my mom has been married a couple times, and my parents divorced when I was 4, and my grandma is my dad's mom.
Okay.
So my mom moved in with my dad and my grandma really young, like 17 years old.
Oh,
At that time, my mom and all these other people were living at the house because my grandma just took in all these kids that either didn't want to go home or didn't have a family or weren't getting along with their families. So
wow.
my grandma took in this other person, and fast forward many years later, they reconnected, my mom and this person, because my dad and my mom had divorced when I was 4. And so that person ended up being my mom's second marriage, my stepdad. And so
Whoa.
it's just so crazy that he lived with my grandma and knew my family as well. So she just took in everyone, and it was just crazy to like see how that impacted their lives later on.
That's powerful and really unique of a story because one, who does
So
that? Like
weird.
it's such an that's nurturing at its best, right? Like really open
Yeah.
arms. That's really beautiful. But how interesting that that connection found its way back.
Isn't that weird?
It's cool. Yeah. That's very cool. Okay, so speaking of stories, you have to share the story behind the name of your business, which you'll have to tell us the name and how that came.
Yeah. So my business name is Sugarface Skincare. And when I was looking for a business name, I had all these different names. None of them really felt like the right thing or like the right way that I wanted to go about my business or start my business. So I kept on looking. And then my grandma had said, "What about Sugarface?" And I was like, that is perfect because my aunt, her daughter, his name is Sugar, and she passed away when she was 20, so in 2000.
Oh, so
So it was
sad.
a great way to like honor her, make sure that her memory stays alive, but also it's a really cute name. I think it's catchy. Like people will definitely remember it. And it definitely ties back into acne because when you're eating too much sugar and having a lot of inflammation, there is something called sugar face. And it's not a, it's not
Ah.
the best thing to have, but I think it's a really cute name, and we trademarked it so that no one else can take it because it has such a great meaning, a deep family meaning to me.
Oh, that's beautiful and sweet. No pun
Yeah,
intended.
definitely sweet.
Good job in trademarking it. That's so smart. Now that'll be part of the family legacy at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about your grandma passing and your aunt passing as well.
Thank you. That's okay.
Yeah, she sounds like she was so young, only 20 years old.
Yeah, it's something called scleroderma. Have you ever heard of it? It's an autoimmune disease,
Mm,
and it was very, very rare. It was hard to diagnose, 25 years ago, but
yeah,
it was kind of crazy. She like went really fast.
wow. Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that part of the story as well, because autoimmune diseases, again, it's very common amongst women. So
Yeah,
it's another gap where we're not assessing these things and studying them in the ways that we should. So,
yeah. It's kind of crazy because my grandma had passed away from lupus, which is like a sister autoimmune disease to scleroderma. So it
uh,
definitely runs in the family.
that's so interesting. Lupus is a tough one too. Well, again, thank you for sharing that part of the story. It's hard not to share it about your grandma, considering the connections and the weaving through the name of the business and how she just feels like a big influence in how you show up in the world.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sugarface also reminds me of just like getting a scrub facial. On a side note, it feels like that's what I thought of when I first saw the name.
I think in the beginning, a lot of people would call and ask if we do sugar waxing,
Mm.
like have you like sugaring? And I'm
Hmm.
like, no, we only do facials,
You're all called Sugarface.
not sugar wax.
How funny. Well, I'd love to know if you have any thoughts or considerations of what your next big vision is. I mean, you're moving this beautiful, holistic, like just way through your business and approach as you're doing now. Is that something you want to lean into further?
I mean, if I had an unlimited amount of money and time, I would definitely have like a naturopath and do holistic, blood testing and mineral
Mhm.
testing and hair testing and have like a sauna and red light therapy beds. So, I mean, if I win the lotto, maybe. But for now, I think we are just building our business and trying to help as many women as we can. I have a couple estheticians that work with me who also align with my same, thoughts and values. So, yeah, come see any of us.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because who you bring in, you want to be able to mirror that level of care and that depth of assessment. So, is that something that you're really intentional about when you bring someone in as a hire?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. So, if there's one thing you want the listener to understand from our conversation today, what would that be?
That you can find other ways to help your skin. You don't have to necessarily go through a doctor and go on medication. There's holistic ways. We can definitely help you, even if you just need to come in and relax and just have a really good, relaxing facial massage, just to like have that nurturing aspect and have that self-care. We can definitely help you. That's available, and reach out if they have any questions. You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Sugarface Skincare. I'm on TikTok, Sugarface Skincare. Our website is sugarfaceskincare.com, but we can definitely help you guys if you have any questions. Even if you're not in our LA area, we offer virtual consultations as well.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
You reminded me there's one more thing I wanted to ask around self-care. One, how important is self-care in someone's well-being? Like really taking time to get a facial or to pay attention to our skin or however that translates for you. But yeah, I'd love to hear your take on that.
Oh, I think it's everything. It's super, super important just to like take an hour away from your phone and get away from the world and stop stressing about what's going on outside and just focus on you. Go get a facial, go get a massage, turn off your phone for an hour, read a book, take a bath, do a face mask. Those are some things that I like to do to just decompress and de stress and take care of myself. Because at the end of the day, I feel like I am taking care of everyone and I am last. So every single day, I try to tell myself, like, you need to do one thing for yourself. You need to take a bath, you need to do a face mask, or just do something for 10 to 30 minutes every single day and do one thing for yourself.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. That's a good reminder because I believe that in theory, but I forget to
It's
do
so
it for
hard.
myself. Yeah, I know. It is so hard. Well, this has been so amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll put all of your information that you shared in the show notes. If you're in LA, you can stop by and definitely take advantage of the virtual offering as well, because a lot of us are tuning in from all over the world. So just thank you
Thank you.
again.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really awesome. And if you want to do another podcast on women's birth control or anything like that, I would love to be back on.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the Boss Goddess podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you're inspired and ready to take action on bringing your passion to life with podcasting, then be sure to get my free Activate Your Passion with Podcasting blueprint at boss-goddess.co/activate to get started. That link is also in the show notes, but here it is again, boss-goddess.co/activate. And I'll see you on the inside.